Okay, so in this video, we will talk about the Django Model Manager. Okay, what exactly is Django Model Manager? Manager is an interface through which database query operations are provided to Django models. As you know, in our Django project, we write something like model.objects.all. Right? So objects is the default manager of every model to retrieve and data from our database. At least one manager exists for every model in Django applications, right? So in this video, we will create uh, our own custom Django model manager, right? So let's first set up our Django project. First, I will set up our virtual environment, the virtual env, and the VNV name -p and -p for the Python version specify, right? So I'm using Python 3.8. You can use either latest or for the same. Oh, here is our virtual environment. Just activate. And now we have to install our Django. Install Django. I'm installing the latest version. Here is our Django install. Now we need to set up our Django project, right? So command is Django admin start project and the project name. Here if I will press enter, so it will create a folder snippet and then it will set up the project inside that. So I'm using a period the last, so it will create in that folder as well. Here you can see our project has been created. So just open in the code editor. So here is our project. Also let's set up one Django app as well. Django admin start app and the app name. So I'm just using core, right? So here is our core app. So first add in our setting install app and core. Okay. And now we have to create one model. So in our core app, in the models file, let's just create a model. So the model I'm using just a student. Okay. So models. Uh, it's why it's not detecting, because we have to configure our VNV in VS Code. So here is our recommended, right? So you can just select this and now you can check the it's detecting our VNV. So models dot and it will also recommend model, right? So in this field, I'm creating some field, right? So first is name and this should be a char field and the max length would be anything. Okay, I'm just using a 10 character and the gender, okay, and male models dot char field as well. I'm let's create a choice field for the gender, right? Because we have only some options. So male and male f, and for the others, these are the variables and these are the values. Okay, and just create a tuples. Sorry, tuple. And we have in this tuple we have to define as well a tuple for male, and the this is used for the in the drop down that it will show in the text field, and this would be the value. Male. And just uh, max length will be 1 because we are using one character, and choice is equal to gender. So I'm not defining any default value, and default would be a null, not a null because we are not defining it's a required field. We are not defining null equal to true, so it would be a required as for the model. And the age field, okay, it's dot integer field, and one more field is active, right? Student is active, so this should be a boolean field, and in this we will define a default is equal to true. So every if, and then their field, I'm just returning self dot name. So this is our model, right? So in this model we have one default manager, right? As you know, objects is the default base manager. We can write like, right? So this is the object, this one is the default, but whenever we need to create our custom one, so our model manager is basically also a class, and that would be a child of in this class, right? So let's create one class. I'm just writing the name of a student manager, and this would be a models dot manager, right? And the parent would be a manager class itself. And in this you can create your custom functions, filter data. Okay, so I'm just overriding the first one is the all method, right? So to override, you have to get query set, you have to override a query set. In this way you can override the default query set. So I'm for the all I'm using filter for is active, all the active student I want to return it. So just write a is active equal to true. So whenever we will use the student manager object and the dot all method, it will return all the active students only. Okay, so let's just create vector. I'm writing students. Okay, great. And yeah, okay. To test this, let's create some data. uh, to create data, what I'm going to do, let's create one file, seed.py file, right? And also one JSON file as students.json. And in this JSON I'm just um, define some student age, okay, gender, male, and just copy paste, just defining five. Okay. Rahul, let's say 16, some female as well. So, usually, Pooja, 20, 18, and sum is active equal to false as well. So is active equal to false. So false. Right. This is our JSON. So in this seed file, we will write a logic to insert this data into our student model. So first import JSON and read the our JSON file. Student on JSON has, okay. In this we have to read our file f read, and just load into our JSON dot loads as well. Okay, so in this we have a JSON data and just loop through it, and also let's import our model as well from core dot models import student as in data. And what I'm going to do, I'm just creating a blank array, right? And I will append all the student object into students array. So students dot append, okay, and student, and as you know this is a dictionary field, so I'm using unpacking of the dictionary, sorry, the s. Now what I will use a student dot objects dot bulk create, okay, it will accept a list of object. Now let just run this. Yeah, so python it dot, oh, okay, this way it's not right, it's not getting our setting file. So what we can do, just go into our python manager.py cell and just import our seed dot import seed file. Will run, right. Now here you can see we got another error. Our table does not exist. Why it's getting? Because we forget to migrate our model. So let's make migration first, and then just migrate. Okay, now it will create our table. So now just go into cell and import seed. Okay, will create a, as you know there is no error, so it will create the record to check. So let's just import our model, import student, and just query students student dot text dot all. As you see, it's returning all the record. Now let's go into our model. So here we have created our custom manager called as students, right? So and here we are using objects. This is the default, right? Objects is our default, and how many objects it's returning to check how many. So just use the count function. So there is five record, right? When we use our custom students manager, then it's returning 4. Why it's returning 4? Because as you know we have overridden the all method. This all method we have overridden and returning the only active student, right? As you know, we just set this to false. So there are four active and one false. That's why we are getting four records as a active student, right? We can also create, if you want to filter like gender, so we can also create one method as here, like male. If you want to filter by males only, so just self here. And here you need to return in the same way, first self dot get query set. Okay, so this function I'm calling, right? And you can use the filter here, gender equal to male. That you can also use a student dot male, right? So it will return only active male students. Let's see. First you have to exit and then just go and import students dot male. So hey, in this way you can use students. Okay. So if we enter, as you can see, we are getting only two records. Why we are getting two records? Because we have three records for the male, this one, but this is not active. That's why it's returning only two, right? Okay. We have created our function, but there is default objects as well. So can this method also exist in objects? Let's see. If I will write checks, then it will return or not. It will not return. Why it's not returning? Because this is the another class and this is another class, right? So why we can access? To do this, to accessible in this, we can create called query set, and then we can specify here as a manager that query set. Then we can use in the objects as well, right? In the same way we can also create for the female function as well. And female, that's it. So let's create one more method in our manager class. Like we want to filter by age for greater than 80, called let's adults self um, filter for the ages. Okay, so here I'm using direct filter method, but here I have used the get query. So this one is the redundant. We are calling this because the self also contain the all the query set data. Just remove this for the age and use greater than or equal to greater than and equal to 18. Okay, and let's see working or not. Student, okay. Student dot students dot adults. Here you can see we are getting four Okay, so we have forest active and all the are student. Let's change this to 18. Let's update one object, the last object. Dot update age equal to 16. Okay, why we are getting this? Let's see. Mm, s dot is equal to 16. S dot save. Okay. Now let's run again the adult function. Then it should return 3. Now we can say we have 3 data. So this is our Django model manager. In the next video we will see our query set, how you can create our custom query set and use in our model manager. Actually there is one issue here that query set can resolve, right? What that issue, let's suppose we want to filter like adults but only males or a females, right? So I use the female, then it will throw an error, and it will say query set object has no attribute females, right? We have only defined in our manager, but we did not define this in our query set, right? That's why it's returning an error, because as you know, if you check, this is called a chaining method, chaining functionality. If we check the object type, then it's a query set type, right? So it's a query set, and the females or a male or adult function does not exist if in this class, right? That's why it's throwing an error. Okay, so in the next video I will show how we can use our custom query set to do this chaining functionality. Thank you.